DC. DC is one of the biggest and oldest comic book franchises. It's owned by Warner Brothers, and the DC actually stands for Detective Comics, the name of a series that first came out back in 1937. Most of DC's stories take place in the shared DC universe, home to icons like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and teams like the Justice League, Teen Titans, Suicide Squad, and the Legion of Superheroes. It's also where you'll find famous villains like Lex Luthor, the Joker, Darkseid, and even morally grey characters like Catwoman. Outside of the main universe, DC has also put out legendary titles like Watchmen, V for Vendetta, Fables, and more under imprints like Vertigo and DC Black Label. And honestly, even just Batman alone makes DC incredibly valuable. He's everywhere: movies, TV shows, games, comics, and endless merch. Matt Reeves is working on the Batman Part 2 with Robert Pattinson, and the character's brand pulls in millions every year. The rights to Batman are basically a guaranteed money machine. Plus, there's a whole new DC universe rolling out now, starting with James Gunn's Superman. A Supergirl spin-off is almost done, Man of Tomorrow is already deep into development, and HBO Max has Peacemaker and a Green Lantern series. If Netflix were to take control of DC, they'd essentially own all that content, plus the entire back catalogue, and could steer the future of the franchise however they want. Dune. Dune is a massive American sci-fi franchise that started with Frank Herbert's 1965 novel Dune, which is often called the best-selling sci-fi book of all time. It won both the Nebula and Hugo Awards and has been adapted multiple times, first as a 1984 movie, then a 2000 miniseries, and now Denis Villeneuve's hit film trilogy, with movies released in 2021, 2024, and a third one coming in 2026. Herbert went on to write 5 sequels, and the first 2 were turned into a miniseries in 2003. Over the years, the franchise has also expanded into board games and video games. Fun fact, since 2009, real features on Saturn's moon Titan have been named after planets from Dune. The entire setting of the series is known as the Duneverse, a far future society where humans have banned all computers, robots, and AI. Because of that, people have developed intense mental disciplines and specialized technologies to take their place. The story centers around the desert planet Arrakis, the only place in the galaxy where you can find the spice melange, a substance that's essential for everything from space travel to enhancing human abilities. Herbert drew on a lot of Middle Eastern culture and themes for the series, which is why many of the terms and ideas echo Arabic words. Today, Dune is considered one of the most iconic sci-fi series ever, and its popularity has only exploded thanks to the recent blockbuster films from Denis Villeneuve. Warner Brothers has fully leaned into it, with Villeneuve developing a third movie and HBO working on Dune, Prophecy, a prequel show that's already been renewed for Season 2. The World of Ice and Fire. The World of A Song of Ice and Fire, George R.R. Martin's epic fantasy series, is split into several continents collectively known as the Known World. Most of the story takes place in Westeros, within the Seven Kingdoms, which are actually 9 major regions: the North, the Iron Islands, the Riverlands, the Vale, the Westerlands, the Stormlands, the Reach, the Crownlands, and Dawn. A gigantic wall made of ice and ancient magic separates these kingdoms from the mysterious, mostly unmapped lands to the far north. Across the narrow sea lies Essos, a massive continent east of Westeros. The Free Cities, 9 independent city-states, sit closest to Westeros along Essos' western coast. Further south are the lands of the Summer Sea, which include Slava's Bay and the ruins of Valyria, the ancestral home of House Targaryen. Beyond that are Sothorios and Ulthos, continents that remain almost entirely unexplored in the story. One of the wildest features of this world is its unpredictable seasons, which can last for years. When the series begins, Westeros is wrapping up a summer that's lasted a decade, and everyone's worried that an even longer brutal winter is on the way. Martin created this as a secondary world, separate from Earth, and has hinted that it might actually be bigger than our planet. It's also a post-magic world. Most people don't believe in supernatural forces anymore, even though they clearly exist. Characters understand nature well enough, but the magical side of their world is mostly forgotten. Religion, however, is still a big deal, with many different faiths practiced across the continents. The original Game of Thrones TV series may have wrapped in 2019, but HBO hasn't slowed down. Prequels and spin-offs keep coming, with A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms premiering in January and House of the Dragon returning soon. And honestly, the hype would explode even more if George R.R. Martin ever finishes the remaining Game of Thrones books. Wizarding World. The Wizarding World, formerly called J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World, is the huge fantasy universe built around the Harry Potter books. Since 2000, 11 movies have been released, 8 based directly on the Harry Potter novels and 3 from the Fantastic Beasts prequel series. All of them are produced and distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures, and together they've made over $9.6 billion worldwide, making it the 4th highest-grossing movie franchise ever, behind the MCU, Spider-Man, and Star Wars. Beyond the movies, the Wizarding World has expanded into stage productions, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, digital publications, video games, and theme park lands at Universal Studios parks around the world. Warner Brothers is currently working on a major reboot, a Harry Potter TV series for HBO, with each season adapting one of the 7 books. Set to premiere in early 2027, the show is expected to be one of the biggest TV events of the decade, and it could easily run for years. And if Netflix were ever to partner with or merge with Warner Brothers, the potential for new Wizarding World projects would be massive. Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes is one of the most beloved brands in entertainment, with Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and the rest of the gang charming audiences since the 1930s. Warner Brothers Discovery has kept the franchise alive with plenty of new shows and movies, though they've also taken some heat, especially for shelving Coyote vs. Acme even after it was finished. The film has since been sold to Catch Up Entertainment, which plans to release it next year. If Netflix ever got its hands on this globally iconic IP, the possibilities for what they could do with it would be endless. Middle-earth, New Line, which operates under Warner Brothers, is the studio that brought us the wildly successful Lord of the Rings trilogy, and later, the not-quite-as-loved but still major Hobbit films. After a long break, the franchise has been picking up steam again thanks to a new animated movie and the first live-action film in years. Andy Serkis is even working on The Hunt for Gollum, slated for release in late 2027. After decades of movies, shows, books, and games, The Lord of the Rings has become a franchise almost as powerful and enduring as The One Ring itself. The Matrix. Even though the latest Matrix sequel ended up being an expensive flop for Warner Brothers, the Matrix franchise is still one of the biggest multimedia ideas to come out of the last 30 years. It spawned movies, animated spin-offs, huge video games, and more merch than you could pile on one of those giant squid robots. There isn't a new Matrix project announced just yet, but it's a universe packed with potential for future reboots, sequels, or completely new takes. A Minecraft movie. The Minecraft movie turned out to be one of 2025's biggest surprise hits, pulling in over $950 million worldwide thanks to its massive and enthusiastic fan base. While Mojang Studios owns the game, Warner Brothers holds the rights to the movie sequels, and they're already developing the next installment, currently aiming for a July 2027 release. If Netflix were to take over Warner Brothers by then, it's interesting to imagine what that could mean for the sequel and for the future of the entire Minecraft movie franchise under Netflix's control. Blade Runner. Blade Runner is a cyberpunk franchise that started with Philip K. Dick's 1968 novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which introduced the character Rick Deckard. The story has been adapted into all kinds of media over the years: films, comics, a stage play, and even a radio drama. A long-awaited movie sequel, Blade Runner 2049, arrived in 2017. Blade Runner has had a massive influence on sci-fi, especially the cyberpunk genre. Its look and ideas shaped pretty much everything that came after it. Since 2011, Alcon Entertainment has owned all the media rights to the franchise. They're the ones who develop and finance the movies, while Warner Brothers handles distribution under a long-term partnership. And if Netflix ever ends up in control of Warner Brothers, that distribution pipeline would fall under Netflix too, which could put the future of Blade Runner in a very different place. The Evil Dead franchise. Evil Dead is a classic American horror franchise created by Sam Raimi, consisting of 5 movies and a TV series, all centered on characters battling demonic forces unleashed by the Necronomicon Ex Mortis. Over the years, it's expanded into video games, comics, and even a stage musical, with the original films earning a massive cult following and the series grossing around $300 million worldwide. A new spin-off, Evil Dead Burn, is set for release on July 24, 2026. Raimi has expressed interest in multiple sequels, potentially bringing Bruce Campbell back as Ash and continuing Mia's story, while Lee Cronin has ideas for follow-ups to Evil Dead Rise. Sam and Ivan Raimi are also creating a franchise Bible to guide future films, with plans to release new installments every few years. On top of that, another mainline movie is in development, written and directed by Francis Galuppi and produced again by Raimi and Tappert. Final Destination. Final Destination is an American horror franchise owned by Warner Brothers via New Line Cinema, spanning 6 movies, 10 novels, and a few comic books. It originally started from an unused X-Files script by Jeffrey Reddick. The formula is simple but effective. Someone foresees a major disaster, warns a group, they narrowly escape, and then death comes for them in increasingly creative and complicated ways. The series is famous for making death itself the villain and for its tension-filled set pieces. Stein has said the story could keep going. Death's work is never done, though each movie takes years to make, and Perry has expressed interest in continuing the franchise, especially after Bloodlines expanded their creative freedom. By August 2025, a 7th film was officially announced, with Taylor writing the script, and Michiel Blanchard was confirmed as director in October. With such a successful franchise, it's another clear win for Netflix. Monsterverse. Monsterverse is basically a big shared universe built around Godzilla, King Kong, and a bunch of other classic Toho monsters. So far, it includes 5 movies, with more coming, and 2 TV shows, all produced by Legendary, with Warner Brothers handling the movie side. The shows currently stream on Netflix and Apple TV+, but in your scenario, they'd eventually be Netflix exclusives. The whole franchise has done pretty well, earning around $2.5 billion worldwide. And it's not slowing down. Godzilla x Kong Supernova is on the way, along with a 2nd season of Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. It is a horror franchise centered on the terrifying, shape-shifting creature that wakes up every 27 years to feast on kids' fear. The series includes Stephen King's original 1986 novel, multiple films, a TV miniseries, and now a new prequel show. The prequel, Welcome to Derry, is currently airing, and if it keeps doing well, which would likely end up streaming on Netflix. Mad Max. Mad Max is an Australian action franchise created by George Miller and Byron Kennedy, centered on gritty, post-apocalyptic adventures. It kicked off in 1979 with Mad Max and continued with Mad Max 2, Beyond Thunderdome, Fury Road, and the 2024 spin-off Furiosa. The series is widely acclaimed, especially Mad Max 2 and Fury Road, and has influenced countless post-apocalyptic stories while expanding into novels, comics, and games. Fury Road even won 6 Oscars, cementing the franchise as a key example of the dieselpunk aesthetic. Back in 2015, Tom Hardy said he was signed on for 3 more films after Fury Road, and Miller revealed plans for Mad Max. The Wasteland, a prequel about Max's year in the wasteland before being captured by Immortan Joe. Though Hardy later expressed doubt, Miller confirmed in 2025 that he's still interested if the timing works. With Netflix potentially taking over Warner Brothers, there's a good chance a new, gritty R-rated Mad Max could finally happen. Rocky franchise. Rocky is a classic American sports drama franchise created by Sylvester Stallone following the underdog boxer Rocky Balboa in Philadelphia. It kicked off in 1976 with the original Rocky, which Stallone wrote and John G. Avildsen directed, quickly becoming a cultural phenomenon. The story continued with 5 sequels. Later, the franchise expanded with the Creed films, centering on Adonis Creed, played by Michael B. Jordan, with Rocky serving as his mentor in the first 2 movies. The Creed films were directed by Ryan Coogler, Stephen Caple Jr., and Jordan himself. The franchise shows no signs of slowing down, with a 4th Creed movie, a Drago spin-off, a prequel series, and more projects all in development. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, TMNT, is a hugely popular American franchise created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, following the 4 ninja-trained turtle brothers, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo, fighting crime in New York City. Over the years, TMNT has grown into comics, TV shows, movies, video games, and tons of merchandise, all distributed by Warner Brothers. After the success of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, at least 2 more movies are reportedly in the works, and the TV series in the same universe has already been confirmed for a 2nd season. The Lego Movie franchise. The Lego Movie is a media franchise based on Lego toys, starting with the 2014 film The Lego Movie by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. Its big success led to spin-offs like the Lego Batman movie and the Lego Ninjago movie in 2017, the Unikitty, TV series, video games, a 4D theme park ride, and the sequel, The Lego Movie 2, the 2nd part in 2019. After the sequel underperformed, Warner Brothers returned the rights to the Lego Group, but still owns all the projects they produced, meaning all that content could now easily go straight to Netflix. Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is a big martial arts fantasy franchise based on the legendary video game franchise. The first live-action movie came out in 1995, followed by Mortal Kombat, Annihilation in 1997, both of which gained a cult following, though the series went quiet afterward. After Midway's assets were sold to Warner Brothers in 2009, the franchise spent years in development limbo, before Warner Brothers rebooted it with a new Mortal Kombat film in April 2021, bringing it to a whole new generation. Mortal Kombat 2 is scheduled for May 8, 2026, and a 3rd movie is already in development. Honestly, this could make a great series, and Netflix is perfect for turning it into a hit. Hopefully they handle it well.